If you want innovation, the leader must personify it. Or John Doyle at HP said, "What you do is so loud I can't hear what you say." And what they're really talking about are what's known as Hawthorne effects. And it relates back to some experiments that were done in the 1930s on work conditions and productivity. And they'd turn the lights up and productivity would go up. And then to verify the results, they'd turn the lights down and productivity would go up again. Crazy stuff like that kept happening through the course of the experiments. And they finally concluded, look, it's not work conditions per se. It's the fact that someone's paying attention. If you want to get something done, you pay attention to it. So in innovation, what we see and what we're going to see in this next example is the leader paying careful attention, setting the example to get innovation to work. Apple Computer, as we all know, has had its difficulties, but the Apple II, led by Steve Jobs and Wozniak, was a grand product success, and the Macintosh looks as if it will be. Now, in the next clip, we're going to watch Steve Jobs do several important things. What he's really doing is pulling a team of champions together, and he's acting as the godfather or the lead champion, as you will. And he's doing several things that I think are terribly important in making that work. The first is he's symbolizing the whole thing. The second is by the recruiting and what really is a socialization process as they bring people in. He's making sure that these people can work together effectively and they get that gleam in the eye that they're going to talk about. He's articulating a vision that the group can relate to. It's almost a pathfinding sort of thing. There's no way you can kind of rationally derive it. I mean, he sees it, it's there, he can turn people on with that vision. And finally, he's acting as the cheerleader and saying, let's go, gang, let's do it. And making the team believe they can do it. And with that belief, they go ahead and do it.
Apples antwoord op IBM was de Macintosh. Op het gebouw waar hij werd ontworpen wapperde deze piratenvlag. Jobs wilde namelijk dat zijn team een stelletje vrijbuiters zou zijn, los van alle bestaande en gevestigde kanalen. Het project werd door hem zelf geleid. Jobs is het voorbeeld van een nieuwe managementstijl. Hij is een coach. Hij moedigt aan en inspireert en hij verwent zijn raspaardjes.
He's a maniac. He's a maniacal genius. His job is to stir up everything. He's a muckraker in the classic sense of the word. He will not leave anything alone. He will not allow inadequacy or compromise to exist.
If Steve Jobs was a catalyst for us. He gave us space. He sheltered us from the corporate noise.
Yeah, there's nothing like a group effort toward a common goal to unite people. I think that was the deal.
We wanted people that were insanely great at what they did, but were not necessarily those seasoned professionals, but who had at the tips of their fingers and in their passion the latest understanding of where technology was and what we could do with that technology, and who wanted to bring that to lots of people. So the neatest thing that happens is when you get a core group of 10 great people, it becomes self-policing as to who they let into that group. So I consider the most important job of someone like myself is recruiting.
We agonized over hiring. We had interviews. You could go back and look at some of the interviews agendas. They would start at 9 or 10 in the morning and go through dinner. A new interviewee would talk to everybody in the building at least once and maybe a couple times and then come back for another round of interviews and then we'd all get together and talk about it.
And then they could fill out an application.
No, they never filled out.
The most critical part of the interview, at least to my mind, was when we finally decided we liked them enough to show them the Macintosh prototype. And then we sat them down in front of it. And if they just kind of were bored or said, this is a nice computer, we didn't want them. We wanted their eyes to light up and them to get really excited, and then we knew they were one of us.
And everybody just wanted to work, not because it was work that had to be done, but it was because something that we really believed in, that was just going to really make a difference. And that's what kept the whole thing going.
We all wanted exactly the same thing, and instead of spending our time arguing about what the computer should be, we all knew what the computer should be, and we just went and did it.
The greatest people are self-managing. They don't need to be managed. If once they know what to do, they'll go figure out how to do it, and they don't need to be managed at all. What they need is a common vision. And that's what leadership is. What leadership is having a vision, being able to articulate that so the people around you can understand it, and getting a consensus on a common vision.
Now let's review the three main points that we've discussed in this tape on innovation. Number one.